I'm happy to see a number of prospective students and many international higher education consultants as well. It's good to have some industry friends in the audience. Thank you for your participation. My name is Hiran De Silva. I'm the Director and CEO of AIBS. This webinar will focus on the benefits of the Ontario Secondary School Diploma, commonly known as the OSSD, as a pre-university qualification. This qualification can now be completed in Sri Lanka and is jointly delivered by AIBS and the Rosedale Academy. So today we have three resourceful presenters from Canada who will talk to you on the merits and the opportunities in having this globally accepted qualification. The first presenter is Mr. Raylon Nazareth, Senior Manager, Global Education Partnerships at Rosedale in Canada. Raylon is a specialist in international recruitment and partnerships with over 10 years in the higher education sector. I must give all the credit to Raylon for his passion and commitment to bring OSSD to Sri Lanka through our partnership in spite of the unprecedented times we are experiencing. Raylon will walk you through a comprehensive presentation on OSSD. Raylon will be followed by Mrs. Marilyn Mason, Vice Principal, Enrollment Services and Strategic Partnerships at the King's University College, Western University in Canada. Marilyn has over 32 years of experience as an educationist, and she will talk about global university pathways and unique scholarship opportunities. Of course, Marilyn will be then followed by Mr. Brent Seton. Brent, I hope I got your name right. Regional Market Development Manager, Ontario Tech University in Canada. Brent is an experienced international student recruiter and has been with Ontario Tech for almost 4 years. Thank you, Raylon, Marilyn, and Brent. It's a pleasure to have you on this session. Before we move on to the presentations, I would like to highlight some housekeeping tips. We have muted all of you. Please stay muted until we permit or we allow you to speak at the Q&A session. We will have one Q&A session at the end of the presentations, and you will be given an opportunity to pose your questions. Of course, you can also type your questions on the chat box so that we can answer them during the Q&A. So once again, thank you for your participation. Stay on board and listen to these wonderful presenters from our partner institutions in Canada. May I now request Mr. Raylon Nazareth to make his presentation. Raylon, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hiran De Silva, and thank you for having us today, this evening at this presentation. Thank you to everyone for welcoming us to, I'd like to say for welcoming us to your homes, because this is on Zoom, and that's probably the best way to get to know each other during a pandemic. My name is Raylon, and was as introduced by Mr. Hiran. It's a real pleasure to be here, and it's a real honor to be establishing this program with the Asian Institute of Business and Science in Colombo. It's first of its kind in Sri Lanka, and it will be a very unique program. And believe me, it's been tested throughout the pandemic around the world. So I'm very excited to be a part of this story with you all, and very happy to be here with my partners from King's University College and Ontario Tech University. I'm going to give a brief overall presentation on our program, our pathway, and a little bit about us and what we do, and look forward to seeing some of your questions and interactions. I had the pleasure many years ago of traveling to Sri Lanka, and it was a trip I will never forget. And I look forward to one day being there soon. I have many friends from Sri Lanka that live here in Canada. And I look forward to maybe meeting some of you here in Canada as well, as you continue on your educational journey. I'm going to just now share my screen with you all so that everyone can see. Well, I think that's working. Perfect. I believe
Yes,
everybody can see that. Perfect.
We can see it. Thank you.
So we'll be going over in quite a bit of detail on the Global University Pathway Program, the GUPP, which is what we're offering in Colombo and across Sri Lanka, actually. But what is Rosedale Academy? Nobody really has heard of Rosedale Academy. How does Rosedale Academy fit into this? We are the partner institution in Canada that is working directly with AIBS to deliver this program for you in Sri Lanka. We title ourselves as the Global Canadian High School. That is because first and foremost, we are a Canadian school based in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. And we're inspected by the Ontario Ministry of Education, which is our governing body, so to say, in the province of Ontario that allows us to issue the Ontario Secondary School Diploma. But you'll see here, there's a large map with a number of countries all over the world. That's where our partner schools are located, 41 partner schools worldwide, delivering our programs. And what's beautiful about this is that although this is a brand new program in Sri Lanka, it's not a brand new program around the world. There's a number of countries throughout the world that and various educational partners that have been delivering this program for the past 8 years. And we're very proud to be having that for the first time in Sri Lanka. And we specialize in Canadian secondary school and foundation programs from Ontario. But the other big thing we specialize in that doesn't get a lot of attention is the use of 21st century e-learning education technology in the classroom. Our goal is to always turn modern classrooms into 21st century e-learning infused education technology classrooms. And it's to bring those classrooms to life. And we've been doing that for a number of years. However, during this pandemic, when many of our partner schools were forced to go online, our platform was truly tested. And we've been able to have a very engaging experience for students and parents. And I invite you to contact AIBS to see what the platform looks like and see the difference and take some time to reflect and compare that to what you've experienced this past year when it comes to what online studies means for you throughout this pandemic. And that's why we sadly like to joke that it is a pandemic-proof solution in terms of an education program that's available to you. But what about AIBS? The goal for us at Rosedale Academy is to bring quality Canadian education to Sri Lanka. And I like to emphasize the word quality here. And to bring about quality programming, you need a quality partner that understands education programs and can deliver it very well. What we love about AIBS is that they have a lot of experience delivering Australian foundation programs as well as the BTEC H&D programs. And that shows us that this is a true quality, credible partner that's produced great student outcomes. And we just have to put the missing pieces in there to make it an exciting program for students. And what that means is that all of the teaching staff at AIBS have received training from us at Rosedale Academy. They're all certified to teach our programming. AIBS provides those modern classroom facilities. We expect you to run this program within a classroom environment. And there's fantastic support and experience in university and career counseling and success in that as well. And the ability for a program to be delivered across Sri Lanka. It's very important for us at Rosedale Academy to work with a local partner because that's someone that's locally accountable to you in your country within your time zone. And that's very important so that you have two institutions that you're really working with when you enroll in this program. AIBS in Sri Lanka and Rosedale Academy in Toronto. What about that Canadian education advantage? For those of you who joined earlier, you probably heard Mr. De Silva say a little bit about the fact that there's a lot of British curriculum in Sri Lanka. But Canada has become one of the most popular, fastest growing destinations for students in Sri Lanka. There's been a 20% year-over-year growth of international students coming to Canada. And that, quite frankly, is because of the fantastic value proposition that's available to students, the ability to pursue a high quality, affordable education in North America, access a 3-year work permit after you graduate. Those are all some of the things that make Canada a very attractive destination. Yet despite that, there's not that many Canadian transnational programs available in countries like Sri Lanka. And that's something that we're looking to change as Canada grows in popularity. So it's really interesting to see that Canadian education advantage. And what we want to do at Rosedale is bring that advantage to you so that you're starting earlier and getting used to the Canadian education style of study. So that as you progress into university and discover the programs in Canada and around the world, you'll start to see that it's a high quality program. Many universities across the country offer fantastic programs such as co-op, work experience, experiential programs, and fantastic research opportunities for students. And we'd like to start to unlock that at earlier stages in students' lives through our programming in country. And what about that qualification, the OSSD, the Ontario Secondary School Diploma? It is from the province of Ontario. Canada is a very large country, and across Canada, it's governed by different provinces. And the provinces set the education system, but they have a national standard that they all meet together. And from the province of Ontario, students at the high school level receive the Ontario Secondary School Diploma. And if we look at the evaluations worldwide, specifically the Program for International Student Assessment, PISA, which is a triennial study that takes place every 3 years, you'll start to see that students are tested in their skills in math, literacy, and English. And you'll start to see that students in Ontario are placed in the top 5 worldwide. And that's based on participating countries. That is an indication of the quality of the curriculum and the quality of the programming that's available from Ontario. However, we like to say it's one of the best kept secrets in the world because there's very limited availability of Canadian qualifications such as the OSSD. And the key piece here is that when you graduate with this diploma, it's internationally recognized Canadian curriculum. You can use this diploma to study in any university around the world, including Canada. But what makes the OSSD program unique from other foundation programs or other programs that are available? First and foremost, each program has its own merits. Every program is a great program. It really comes down to what you want as a student or what you see yourself, what kind of environment you see yourself studying in. This is to kind of give you a general overview of what the main differences are between our program and what else is available out there. For many students around the world, they pursue either a national curriculum or they pursue a Cambridge program, which is quite popular, the A-level program. And a lot of schools develop fantastic curriculum around that. The main difference, though, is that at the end, everything is decided by one final examination. And those final examinations can be worth up to 70% of your final mark. And unfortunately, not necessarily intentionally, but unfortunately, it leads to a lot of memorization and test preparation, where students are kind of forced to pick between right or wrong answers. And for us at Rosedale, we follow a differentiated education process for the OSSD. So it very much is a flexible process with a variety of assessments for students. And the biggest thing that we focus on is the development of higher order thinking skills for students. So it's very easy in the 21st century to acquire knowledge on your cell phone. You don't need anything special to identify facts and information. The question is, what are you doing with that information? How are you using your higher order thinking skills to make something more of that information? And that's what we do through our program, through a variety of assessments that focus on developing your skills. So every single assessment in the program counts towards a grade, and it's not all focused on a final examination. And that's a very different style of evaluation and learning that I encourage you to explore more with AIBS. And what does that mean for us? First and foremost, like any academic program, you're going to get your academic skills, whether it's the Cambridge or the OSSD. You're going to understand all of those facts, mathematical processes, presentation skills, research skills. but the development of higher order thinking skills, the ability to analyze, problem solve, evaluate, and create is a very unique thing that we want to push for in the OSSD program. And learning skills, helping you transition to university. The program is called the Global University Pathway Program. It's an alternative to the A-levels. So we want to help you transition and prepare for university studies. A lot of students that have taken this program have said to us that they can't imagine the amount of work they've had to do to get through this program and the amount of fun they've had doing it. And so we're going to teach you that in an academic format when it comes to time management, responsibility, organization, working independently, and working in group environments so that you're able to succeed as you progress into university. I talked a little bit earlier about the platform for us at Rosedale Academy and how it's made us a pandemic-proof solution. When we look at what's happened the past year, many schools were forced to go online. What that worked out to be was a lot of online live teaching on Zoom, hopefully with a good internet connection, and the use of tools such as Google Classrooms, where students would upload assignments and they would be graded. That's fine, but for us at Rosedale, every course is infused with multimedia content. For many of our partners, they have fantastic, beautiful chemistry and biology labs for students to run experiments in. But during the pandemic, we had to have all of our students use the virtual labs. And those virtual labs had been there since before the pandemic, actually, to reinforce student learning. Our platform has a lot of collaborative activities for students to do group work and work together. So the beauty of this program is that you'll be working on projects together with other students as opposed to independently on your own. And there's a lot of videos and case studies that bring a practical element to what you're learning. I remember when I was in school, and I think everyone here can remember back in their school when they're sitting in a class wondering, when am I ever going to use this in real life? So we really like to emphasize those real life moments of when you would use some of the things you're learning through our videos and case studies. There's a lot of simulations as well, in case you're not able to understand what the lecture is providing to you. And we provide a lot of games to engage you in everything that you're learning, whether it's science, math, or English. Our discussion forums are very global in terms of being able to communicate with students around the world that are taking this program at the same time. And there's lots of presentations as well to help you better understand the material. So this is what we mean when we talk about rich multimedia content that's infused into the program within every single course. And that's something that's very unique to us. And I just invite you all to reflect on this past year of your online studies and compare that and say, what did I get in my experience? Because this is what you will get if you come into this program with us at AIBS. In terms of courses, one of the main differences is that with our program, it is based on taking courses as opposed to prepping for examinations. Each course at Rosedale is 110 hours of curriculum. And what we follow is a progressive evaluation model. That means your assessments will be worth about 70% of your grade, and your final exam would be worth about 30%. That means you're progressively taking assessments to learn the material and improve your grade. And we're able to look at your previous high school transcripts to provide credits so that you could transfer into the program. You'll see here AIBS is offering a variety of courses at the grade 11 and 12 level, and you'll take a selection of courses that qualify you for university applications to the discipline that you're focused on. What does it mean when you're a student at AIBS doing this program? So students are registered at AIBS, but you're also registered as Ontario students at Rosedale Academy. You'll have an Ontario education number and an Ontario student record and an Ontario report card that's issued to you throughout the term. For the universities that are out there that you're applying to, they'll receive an Ontario student transcript as well as the Ontario Secondary School Diploma, which is the qualification you'll receive. And that's issued from the Ontario Ministry of Education. And this is a sample of what the actual qualification looks like for those who are curious in terms of the OSSD. In terms of our blended learning model, we like to explain to parents and students that this program often has 2 teachers in every course, but everything is based fundamentally on our learning management platform. The platform provides a variety of course content, learning activities, assessments, case studies, and it's the hub of where students are able to check on their progress and be able to see their grading and results. There's a program manager in Toronto that develops the courses and provides support for the teachers at AIBS and helps administer the program. In Sri Lanka, there's a teacher from AIBS that, AIBS as an institution will be able to conduct the pre-assessment, manage your schedule, supervise your exams, and provide local classroom instruction, as well as the formative assessment and feedback. However, all of your summative assessments, the courses that count for grades, your evaluations, are evaluated in Canada by an Ontario certified teacher in Canada. So those are all the grading for every assignment test that you have to take towards your grades are evaluated in Canada. And that's a centralized form of evaluation. So for every course that you take at this program with AIBS, you'll have 2 teachers per course. A teacher in Sri Lanka from AIBS that's going to help you understand the material and teach you the material, as well as an Ontario certified teacher that's going to grade the assessments that you do and provide feedback on those assessments. In terms of the GUPP, the Global University Pathway Program, we try to come up with a 5-step process of the way it would work for most students. A lot of students are either O-level or IGCSE graduates, or they're coming from the national 11th standard. We also have students that are coming from the AS or A-level program that want to take a different path. The counselor at AIBS is going to ask you, what do you want to study for university? Do you want to pursue engineering, something in social sciences or business? And then they're going to help you select a group of courses, usually around 6 to 7 courses. For IGCSE O-level graduates, it's going to be about 7 courses in total. You'll be able to receive pre-admission to our partner institutions, should you wish to go there. You'll also complete an Ontario literacy test that takes place in April of each year, and about 10 hours of community leadership service. And you'll do all of this within 10 months. And you'll have an Ontario Secondary School Diploma, which is the qualification you can use to apply to both Canadian and global institutions. Just to break it down for everyone, what does that mean? So if I was a student that wanted to study business, for example, I would look at my 6 university preparation courses. So I would definitely take English, I'd take advanced functions, calculus and vectors, data management, and I'd probably take a business leadership and international business course. As mentioned, that differentiated evaluation process, what we call the progressive evaluation model, these are the assessments you're taking in every course. You're going to have research reports, case studies, presentations, essays, and unit tests, and they're worth about 70% of my final mark. And then I have my final examination or final project, and that's worth about 30%. That's the complete opposite of what is in the Cambridge model or what is in the national curriculum, where your final exam is worth about 70% and your coursework is worth about 30%. That's the fundamental academic learning difference in the style of learning for this program. And you apply to universities with your average of your top 6 courses. So although as an IGCSE graduate, you'd be taking 7 courses, your top 6 courses is what's evaluated by the universities for admission in terms of calculating your GPA. I mentioned quite a bit that it's a globally accepted credential, and there's a global admission advantage to that. What's beautiful about having the OSSD is that when you're applying to Canadian institutions, you're able to apply as what we call a local applicant with a Canadian credential. What that means is that it's similar to taking high school in Canada, where you're graduating with the OSSD. I just want to qualify that, though, is what that doesn't mean, though, is that you're not a Canadian citizen. So you're not actually applying and receiving Canadian domestic tuition, but you're applying as a local applicant with a local credential. So how does that work for students in terms of a benefit? For many international students, they normally just qualify for international scholarships, but by having the OSSD with them, they qualify for some of the domestic entrance scholarships in addition to their international scholarship. That's a big benefit financially for students when they're looking at a program like this. For the UK and Australia, many students choose to do foundation programs, either in Sri Lanka or at the country that they choose to study in. And that segments you to one institution. With the OSSD program, through AIBS, you can apply to any institution and keep your options open. The other benefit is that you don't have to do a long-term 2-year A-level program. I'm looking at my university, for example. You have to submit 3 A-level examinations to be able to apply. And that's something that is not something that you have to deal with in terms of this program. For the United States, you're able to, for many universities, the SAT is not required for OSSD students. However, some do require standardized testing. And if you're looking to apply to a country such as Singapore or Malaysia, which is a very popular destination as well for Sri Lankan students, the IELTS or TOEFL is not required with the submission of an ENG4U course result. And that's our English course. I'd like to turn it over now briefly to my colleague, Brent Seaton, to talk a little bit about Ontario Tech University. Ontario Tech is one of our partners, beautiful campus, and lots to share. So I'm going to turn it over right now to my colleague, Brent.
Thank you, Raylan. And one thing that Raylan mentioned in his presentation was the quality of education you receive at Rosedale. And that's one thing I want to mention. Regardless if you're applying to King's or Ontario Tech, that's what we see from these Rosedale students is quality, education, leadership, community involvement, and they come over from whichever country they're currently living in, and they succeed in these Ontario universities. And that brings me to Ontario Tech, which is exactly about 45 minutes east of Toronto. So it's a short drive from the Toronto area. About 10,000 undergraduate students from a variety of different programs: business, information technology, health science, engineering, social science, humanities. Some of the top programs we have at Ontario Tech would be nursing, for example, computer science, engineering, and our international students thrive in these type of programs. Of course, we have experiential learning in almost all of our programs, such as paid internships. So for example, if you want to come to Ontario Tech and you want to do a business program, let's just say in third year, you want to go do an internship and you want to be paid some real money. Well, that's exactly what we're going to provide. And that's the one thing we want to do at Ontario Tech is when you do go and graduate, you already have something on your resume. So you're not only graduating with an Ontario Tech degree, you're graduating with real life experience. And of course, we are tech, entrepreneurial, and innovation focused. You could call us a tech school. We have a variety of tech programs, but we also have many other programs as well that doesn't necessarily involve tech. 85% of our graduates are employed within 6 months of graduating. And of course, 78% of those graduates are employed within their field of study. 1/4 of our graduates, that's 1/4 students within 6 months of graduating are earning more than 50,000 Canadian dollars per year, which is unbelievable. And some of the benefits of Ontario Tech and the Rosedale partnership, preliminary acceptance. So if you are accepted into the Rosedale Academy, you're also given a conditional offer to Ontario Tech. Your Ontario Secondary School Diploma scholarship of $2,000 to $4,000, the GPA of 85% or higher. So 85%, 290 could earn you $1,000 or $2,000. And of course, a 95% and above scholarship would net you $4,000. Of course, we have a variety of in-course scholarships as well. And they would also qualify to apply for the Global Leadership Award, which is our largest award. It's $18,000 over the 4 years. And of course, it would be application based. The deadline for that scholarship was February the 25th of 2021. And of course, what we want to see is a high level of academic achievement, community involvement, and leadership capabilities. And those are the 3 things that Rosedale will provide you. And of course, regardless of what Ontario school you go to, just checking out the Rosedale Academy, being a part of that community, you're already one step ahead of everybody else. I'll turn it over to my colleague Marilyn now, which I believe it's the King slide up next.
Thank you, Brent. Appreciate that. And just to highlight a bit of what Brent said, Ontario Tech is one of our partners that we've been working with for a number of years. The beauty of some of the university partners that we work with is really good programs that offer what students are looking for. and the ability to do cooperative education, paid work experience, access to scholarships, and something that's not too far away from Toronto is fantastic. I'd like to turn it over to Ms. Marilyn Mason from King's University College to say a few words regarding King's as well as the Rosedale partnership.
Good evening. It's a pleasure to be part of this webinar tonight. And I'd love to tell you a little bit about King's University College at Western University. I came to King's a long time ago, 32 years, and I fell in love with it, and that's why I've stayed. It is a very small undergraduate university college with only about 3,500 students. We're really focused on arts and social sciences, management, as well as social work. So those are the people-oriented courses, and we have a small focus for a small community, and I think we do it exceedingly well. We also have a very long name, King's University College at Western University, and that explains a lot about us. We are a small university college associated with a large world-class university, Western University, very much like the Cambridge-Oxford system, where you are your own institution, but you're part of a bigger institution. We provide the small community, small classes with first-class award-winning faculty, and we're also part of this big university, a 10-minute walk away, where you have the advantage of a world-recognized degree, as well as all of the facilities and activities of a big university, which is over 40,000 students. So we provide kind of the home, and then you have the big city right next door. So we think it's a great combination of enjoying the small and the benefits and having that large university experience. Western has been ranked #1 in Canada for student experience for almost a decade. And I think that tells you something about the fact that one of Western's strengths is there's different learning environments depending on your circumstance. So for instance, people who come to us really are looking for that small experience, and their focus is on art, social science, management, and social work. Those are our programs, and within business management, our focus is accounting, human resources, global commerce, and finance. So that provides you a range of interests in management. We have a lot of the same benefits as Trent does as a partner of Rosedale. We have a preliminary acceptance with all students guaranteed who have chosen Rosedale for this global pathway. We also feel, like Brent does, that Rosedale grads are so good that we want to have a special scholarship for them. So every student who goes through the Rosedale pathway with Asian Institute of Business and Science will be guaranteed an award, a scholarship of $6,500. In addition, we have guaranteed Ontario Secondary School Diploma scholarships that are a minimum of $1,500 that go to a total of $5,000. The Ontario Secondary School Diploma are based on your grades, so a minimum of 80%, which I feel is the usual case for Rosedale applicants. And in fact, most of our Rosedale applicants come in with mid-80s and earn up to $5,000 in addition to the $6,500. I think that's a tribute to the curriculum and to the quality of the students who choose this pathway, because they are highly motivated to go to an international university. They've done their research. They choose this pathway because they see it as an excellent transition into the Canadian university system, as well as universities across the world. We also have guaranteed residence, so you don't have to worry about where you'll live on campus. And they're lovely residences with lots of activity going on, both study as well as social. We feel the residences have to be an extension of the study environment, so there are study hours during exams where things are quiet, but at the same time, it's a way of feeling part of the community. We also have guaranteed part-time jobs for all Rosedale graduates on campus. The neat thing about an on-campus job is you get to go to work when it's convenient. If you've got an exam that week and you're studying or a paper to do, you can make up the hours the next week. After all, you're working for the university, and we know your grades and your study comes first. It's also right on campus, so you don't have to find yourself with a different wardrobe or getting there. So we feel all of these things really provide an amazingly welcome environment. Though we're small, about 20% of our students are international from 35 countries. Canada is very diverse. Most of us are from somewhere else. And so that's a great place to have that kind of welcoming, safe environment. And I want to emphasize that at King's we're very interesting, because although we have a lot of local students and Canadian students across the world, we have students across the country, we have students from across the world. So as you can tell, I'm keen on King's and haven't left and won't leave. And I think the best part is the great students we attract and the community that's created with the students as well as the staff and the faculty. Thanks for listening.
Thank you, Marilyn. And if I could just echo some of Marilyn's statements, I've had the chance to go to King's. It's a beautiful, beautiful campus and just a lovely, caring community within the Western University environment. And we've had some very happy students get admitted to both King's and Ontario Tech. They've started online, a lot of them this year, and they're itching to get on the plane to Canada as soon as this pandemic is over with. So thank you to both Ontario Tech and King's, not just for being here, but for supporting our students this past year as they transition into university studies. Much, much appreciated. I'm going to carry on briefly and then wrap up very soon so that we can have some time for Q&A. But just to close a little bit here, I have a couple of slides in terms of Rosedale Academy graduates. I know this program is fairly new in Sri Lanka, and AIBS is taking a big risk bringing a new academic program in the middle of a pandemic. But we've had extremely fantastic support from the Canadian High Commission in terms of bringing this program about. And this program is not new worldwide, as you can see here. 96% of our graduates have been accepted into top 200 universities, and our graduates get an average of 4.7 offers of admission. In addition to King's and Ontario Tech, these are some of the universities that have admitted our students. And this is very important for us because I just like everyone to note the diversity of institutions from around the world. So that's important because that means admissions offices in the US, the UK, Australia, Ontario, across Canada have seen Rosedale documents and have admitted our students. So there's a track record there of quality when you come into this program. And we're very proud of that. So for students that are coming in, you're entering a larger cohort of students from around the world that are taking this program at the same time as you. A closing success story from us is probably one of our recent graduates from China. Many of our students, when they graduate from Rosedale, they receive scholarships of between $2,000 to $25,000, depending on which institution they're studying in. This is an example of a student who worked very hard. She had a GPA of about 96.2 in Rosedale, and she had 6 offers of admission. She's proceeding on to study at UBC, and she received a scholarship of around $85,000 Canadian to study in the program. That's one of their top scholarships that they were able to offer to her. And you can see here that she was studying at a leading school and she was looking at a program that offered a Canadian diploma, and she chose the OSSD program through Rosedale. And despite it being something unique for her, it's a very different style of learning, and she had a lot of fun doing it. So we're proud of her success, and we're hoping to see some similar success in Sri Lanka through this program and through the great work from AIBS. So just to wrap up very quickly in terms of the advantages of doing this program with AIBS, we're looking to offer a very high quality Canadian program with up to 60% of savings when you're comparing it to doing a foundation program or A-level program abroad. You're going to have experienced local Sri Lankan staff in addition to international Canadian teaching support. So it's the best of both worlds. Once again, my sad joke, an uninterrupted, engaging, pandemic-proof curriculum that's available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. A wide selection of OSSD courses to choose from. You saw the variety of courses we have to cater to different student needs. And of course, admission and scholarships to top global universities like King's and Ontario Tech. So that's a bit of a highlight. It's going to be a very interesting year. This year, it's not a typical academic year, but we're looking forward to an exciting year with AIBS. And that wraps up my presentation with my colleagues here at Ontario Tech and King's. I'd like to turn it over to the AIBS team to see if we have any Q&A. Thank you.
Thank you, Relon. Thank you very much. And thank you, Marilyn and Brent as well, for that wonderful presentation and your endorsements of the program. And of course, the opportunities that every one of the students would get when they do complete the OSSD. A few comments before I open up for the Q&A is to, as Relon kept on saying that, you know, our Sri Lankan students are pretty familiar with the UK, or I would say the European qualifications and also the national curriculum, which are the primary qualifications that have given them access to the popular universities. Now, if you look at Sri Lankans, they have been traveling to Australia in the last, I would say, 5 to 6 years. Australia has become a very hot destination, in my words, for university students. And also, UK used to be, but I think there is, again, from this year, there is momentum that is gaining towards studies in UK. So what I want to reiterate again, in adding to what Relon said, is that the OSSD, the university pathway, the global university pathway program is a globally recognized qualification. It is not simply confined to Canadian universities or colleges. So if anybody is interested, I mean, Relon showed us some of the potential universities. This is only a handful. If you take the Australia, all the 40 plus universities in Australia accept, including the group of 8, accept this qualification. So all what you need to do, very simply, go into the entry criteria in the selected course that you want to look at, and just type the entry requirements, go into the entry requirements page, and you will find the OSSD, the Ontario Secondary School Diploma, and the required gradings. So similarly, if you go to the UK and you look at all the top tier universities like the Russell Group universities, they all do accept the OSSD. So it's not simply a Canada only qualification, but partnering Rosedale Academy from Canada has given certain additional benefits. As Relon, Marilyn, and Brent highlighted, as Rosedale students, you will be entitled to special concessions like the scholarships that they are offering, the Western King's College and Western University, as well as the Ontario Tech, and there are many more partners that Rosedale is currently working and expanding with. So just to reiterate this fact that OSSD, or the Global University Pathway Program, is actually a global qualification recognized by literally all universities across, including New Zealand, Singapore, and Hong Kong. Of course, US, I don't have to mention. US is another country that all those universities do accept OSD as an entry qualification. So this is a global qualification as opposed to some of the what I would call destination-specific foundation programs that are available in Sri Lanka. So that's definitely a huge advantage when you do follow the OSSD, and you can take a call once you qualify whether you want to go to Canada, UK, Australia, or for that matter any other destination. So I'd like to now open the Q&A session. So you can unmute, but I would like to first answer. There was one question on the chat box from Nirma asking about pathways to medicine. If I may answer first, and then Raylan can add on. So once again, AIBS will be delivering 3 streams under the partnership. So we will have a science stream, we'll have a business stream, and then we'll have the engineering stream. So once you pick the science stream, that will take you to all the qualifications that you aspire to in the biological sciences area. So obviously you need to get the required grades. The universities will accept your the OSSD as an entry qualification, but we need to make sure that the particular university's GPA requirement has to be met by the student when they complete the particular qualification. I also want to add one more thing, specifically in the Canadian education, higher education framework, most of the qualifications, including the sciences, so if you are pursuing science stream or biological sciences programs, most of the Canadian universities require maths subjects. So that is why we have built in maths as a core component in the selection of the 6 subject courses. Now, having said that, Rosedale and AIBS have discussed, if the student is selecting a university which does not require mathematics, for example, some Australian universities do not ask for mathematics for biological sciences programs. So then you can elect to do certain other subjects out of the suite of courses that we have. Raylon, would you like to add to that particular, my comments on that?
Sure. Everything was very much spot on. For those who aspire to enter medicine or any sort of other science program, that's really a postgraduate vision that you're looking at. So be prepared for a long-term study plan. And the starting basis is through our science stream, as Mr. Haran pointed out. So taking courses in math, biology, chemistry, potentially physics if you want to take that, but it's not required in terms of pursuing a science-based program. Those are the areas that we would have you start off with, and then you would pursue a undergraduate degree in science, and then you're qualified to apply to medical schools around the world. That being said, though, Canada is very competitive and very limited when it comes to international student admission spots. But that would be the pathway you would take, starting with the program at AIBS at the undergrad level.
Thank you, Ralam. So there is a request, can we have the recording? Yes, for those who have registered for this program, we will be sharing. The next question is, please advise what would be the correct stream for automotive sector. Would you like to answer that, Raylon?
When I have terms like automotive thrown at me, I really like to look at engineering in terms of undergraduate programs. So we would put you probably in the engineering stream. The courses you would take would be let me just actually briefly highlight that for everyone so that they could see. If you're in an engineering stream, we'd have you do the English course, advanced functions, calculus and vectors, chemistry and physics, as well as another elective of your choice. But those would be your core courses that would be required to apply for an engineering program abroad. And we pick those courses. Now, of course, I understand if you look up a specific university, they might not need a course like chemistry, but we want to ensure that you're qualified for applications to any university so that you can apply to your primary top choice as well as any other choice. So we come up with the courses that we know will qualify you for admission to any engineering program around the world. Keyword is qualifying you for admission. Getting admission, though, is based on your performance, though.
Sorry,
Marilyn,
you add something?
Could I just add a quick comment? Brent, and I know that both Oshawa and Southwestern Ontario are the hub of the auto industry in Canada. And I know King's has a lot of grads in management that end up with the automotive sector, because in addition to designing them, they have to make sure that all of the dollars and cents work out. And so I'm sure Ontario Tech students come out with either business and engineering and go into that sector, but we've had a number of our students go into global commerce or finance and end up working for the automobile sector. So I guess it depends on whether you want to work of the wheels of business or the wheels of the car.
That's very true. Very true. Yes. Brent, do you want to go ahead?
In there. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Marilyn. You beat me to it. I do want to mention that Ontario Tech has the only 4-year degree granting program in automotive engineering. So if you do want to do automotive engineering, you got to come to Ontario Tech. And what we're going to require from the Ontario Secondary School Diploma is English, advanced functions, calculus vectors, chemistry, and physics. As far as an average goes, we'd love to see above 80, preferably 85 and above is going to make you extremely competitive and also eligible for scholarships as well. So if that student wants to reach out to Raylon or Mr. De Silva, or even me, I'd love to speak to you about the automotive engineering program at Ontario Tech.
Brent, that automotive engineering program also has a co-op option, right?
Unfortunately, it does not for international students.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Good to know. Thank you.
Thank you, Brent. Brent, that was great. So that was a very specific answer. So, so the next question is in 2 parts. Is the OSSD done instead of the foundation course? I would say yes, but you wouldn't want to compare it as a foundation. It is totally a pre-university year 12 qualification, which is equivalent to, I would say, a comprehensive A-level type of examination, of course delivered full-time in 10 months. And it is not a destination-specific foundation program. So that's the advantage, as I said. You can call it foundation, you can call it pre-university, but it's accepted across the globe. It's not restricted to a particular destination. And the second part of that question is, does the University of Auckland in New Zealand accept the OSSD? The answer is yes. All the universities in New Zealand accepts. So if you really go into their particular courses, those particular universities and the entry criteria, you will find if you type the qualification from Canada, OSSD gets listed. And if there is any doubt or clarification, we can, AIBS team can answer you better. Raylon, is there anything more additionally that you want to say?
Yeah, I just encourage you to contact AIBS with a specific program of interest at University of Auckland, and we can help find out the specific OSSD admission requirements for the program that you want to study in at the institution.
Right. Again, there is a question in 2 parts. Thank you, Tilina, for your warm greetings. Question 1 is, how frequently would Rosedale AIBS offer exams for students? And part 2 is, can students take selected subjects, for example, mathematics, calculus only, or grade 12 English only? Praland, can I ask you to answer those?
Sure, yeah. In terms of how frequently, you can see actually right here on number 2, the differentiated evaluation process. This is what you'll expect in each and every course for the program. So about 7 courses, right? So the research reports, case studies, presentations, essays, and unit tests. That's happening periodically throughout the academic calendar. The final examination will take place at the end of the program. AIBS will be following a semester term system of about 4 to 5 months per term. So you take about three courses in each term, and the courses will be, the calendar will be organized within those 4 to 5 months.
Thank you, Rela. The next question is Tejan.
Oh.
Sorry, I think there was a second part.
Sorry, yes, yeah. In terms of
the selection.
Right. Can students take selected subjects, right? From yeah. So if you're looking for the OSSD diploma, the actual qualification to apply to university with, you're going to have to take about 6 to 7 courses to qualify to apply. Not individual courses. So it comes down to whether you're looking to apply with this credential for university or not. So that would determine how many courses you're taking, as opposed to, if I understood you correctly, can students take selected subjects, such as math only or grade 12 English only? That wouldn't lead to the qualification that you need. That would just be one subject that you're taking.
And if I may also add, Relon, so supposing we have a year 11 student who is taking six courses, there will be some core subjects and electives, and English would be a core subject. Mathematics and calculus would be a core subject. Am I correct?
That's correct. Yeah. Yeah. There's core subjects that universities look at, and then there's the 1 to 2 electives that you have to choose from. Yeah.
Right. The next question is on recognition for prior learning. Would you give exemptions for a diploma, first year engineering, or a foundation done for Australian university, such as IDIPCO in Australia? We have discussed with Rosedale on selected qualifications to consider certain credits or recognition for prior learning, but we haven't considered all. We need to look at it on a case-by-case basis. I would say we need to map, look at the subjects, look at the transcripts, map and see how much of credits can be granted, if at all. There is no sort of, there isn't a ready reckoner, so to speak, where we can offer you credits. But someone who has done ACE levels, we have a mechanism that we have worked out, and we have agreed to a RPL, but diplomas or other foundations, we will have to take it on a case-by-case basis. The next question is, I'm hoping to get a degree in a computer science in a university in Japan. What is the correct stream I should take? And after OSSD in 10 months, can I go directly to a university after like September 2021? Okay, we continue to say that this is a global qualification. So it's a direct entry to universities across the globe. If you could let us know, we haven't really probed into Japanese universities, but if you could let us know what your choice in Japan is, we would do some research. We could also make an inquiry with them. I would presume they will accept it, but to make sure, if you can share, Damula, if you can share the details with the AIBS team, we will help you find. If they do accept, then the 10-month program is as good as you completing the university entrance. So they're depending on the, so we are looking at kicking off our first batch in November, which means we should be done by August of 2021. So November, December, and 8 months into 2021. Yes, there is a likelihood. We are targeting even Canadian university entrance. The most popular intake is in September. So we would be looking at starting the program in the first week in November, so that students can complete by August and then progress to their respective universities. Next question is, what are the qualifications needed by a grade 11 student to apply for OSSD? So when you say grade 11, so that means I'm assuming the students have completed 1 year after O-levels. If that were the case, they will have to take 6 subjects. If they are soon after O-levels, they will have to do an additional English subject. That is the 7th unit. And then, of course, you need to first select the stream and then decide on what the electives are. Is my explanation correct, Relon?
Yeah, that's correct. I think there was a follow-up saying not done with O-levels. So
No. Yeah.
did I read that correctly?
Yeah, so students without O-levels will not have an opportunity to register. The minimum qualification is you need to have passed the national curriculum O-level with 5 credit passes. Maths and English is a must. And then, of course, if the student has done the national curriculum in Sinhala, you will have to do a English test to see your English proficiency, and based on that, additional English will have to be pursued. Otherwise, you will have to. There is the Oxford English test that has to be taken, and Rosedale will determine But for those students without O-levels, you cannot join into this program. Relon, I hope I answered that correctly.
Yeah, so it would be really good to see what the transcripts you have. I'd encourage all students to, once you contact AIBS, is to submit a copy of your transcripts and your grade qualification, and then we can identify the courses you need to take. And if you're qualified to enter the 1-year Global University Pathway Program.
So those are the questions in the chat box. I'd like to open it out for anyone else who wants to speak, engage with the resource persons, talk to them, ask any questions. Anyone would like to do that? I'm sure there'll be many questions for our AIBS team, so we will need to be ready to answer. So once again, what I wanted to reiterate, sorry, there are a few more coming through. So what is the result that we should get for O-levels? That's what I said. You need to have minimum 5 credit passes with credits for mathematics and English in the O-level results. And if it is a national curriculum, if it is IGSC, then you will go straight into the 7 units. If it is a national curriculum, we'll need to determine your English proficiency. So we will do the Oxford English test and proceed from there. But the academic qualifications, you need a minimum of 5 credits in the O-levels.
Mr. Haran, I want to be just mindful of my colleagues who may have to jump to another event or a meeting.
Sure. Right.
And
I understand.
but I'm happy to stay on in
Right.
terms of further Q&A, of course, with the group.
Relon, there's one question. What is the minimum GPA score would be to get qualified for top universities in Canada, UK, or US from the OSSD? It's a very broad question, I think. Yeah.
The best way to put it is it's variable. It depends on the university you want to apply to, the country you want to study in as well. So I can't give you a specific minimum GPA, but every university has a minimum GPA, and many universities publish those minimum GPAs
Correct. Yes.
on their website. If you can't find the minimum GPA on an institution's website, that's where our counseling team comes into play. And we will get in touch with the admissions office at these universities to be able to determine what the minimum GPA is to apply. Keeping in mind, there's a big difference between minimum GPA and competitive GPA.
Right. Right. So what I would urge the participants is to continue to communicate with the team at AIBS. Our counselors are happy to talk to you. Come visit us and have a face-to-face engagement. If it is not possible these days, we are happy to do a one-on-one counseling session on Zoom or any similar platform. We'll be happy to do that. So all the information we can clarify in detail. In the interest of time, I think we would now close this session. And let me take this opportunity to thank all the participants, especially the prospective students and the education consultants who will be helping and supporting us to take OSSD to greater levels. And thank you very much, Relon, Marilyn, and Brent. I know we had to drag you literally out of your beds to get this session going, but thank you very much for your commitments, and I'm very appreciative of what you are doing for us. And we would be looking forward to working even closer with all of you, and hopefully you will see more and more Sri Lankan students with OSSD qualification at your doorstep in the years to come. Thank you very much once again. And thank you for everyone who participated. It has been a pleasure. And we will continue to be in touch, and my team will email all of you the recording. And please do seek further clarifications, and we are happy to answer you. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Mary. Pleasure.
Thank you very much, Mr. Haran, and thanks to everyone for their time today. The sun is now out, so we will be starting our day in Toronto. I think Marilyn, if you have to leave, it's not a problem. I'm happy to stay on a little bit longer with you, Mr. Haran. If there's any more questions, it's not a problem at all.
I'll say goodbye.
Have a great day.
A pleasure.
Have
Thank
a
you.
fantastic day. Thanks. Please.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Marilyn. Take care.
Yeah, so thank you, Relon. I know you need to also move on. We will follow up. We will talk to the prospects and provide them greater clarity, and I'm sure we'll have benefits. Thank you, Relon. Thank you for your time.
Thank you all, and thanks everyone for your time, and please keep in touch and be safe over this,
you too.
this year.
Do stay safe and take care. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Once again, it was a pleasure having you, and thank you for your support and participation. Appreciate it very much.
Okay, take care.
Have a good